This video is brought to you by Dropsource.com. That's spelled drop-source.com. Our teams do the research to figure out what's going to sell if you list it on eBay. If you order from us and the items don't sell, we'll send you a full refund. All right, now let's get to the tutorial. This is an instructional video on how to set up Yaballe.com and also how to list thousands of items incredibly quickly on your eBay store. All right, so the first step is to go to our website, drop-source.com, and then you've got see right here, lister/price tracker. So you're going to go ahead and click on that. I've already done it and I have it in this tab here. And if you haven't already made an account, then you'd sign up for an account. I've already made an account, but that's all I've done. So I'm going to go here to log in. All right, and you're going to click log in. So the first step is we need to connect Yaballe to eBay. Yaballe is a price tracker. So basically what it does is every 30 minutes, it goes to Amazon, checks the price of the item, and then goes to eBay, updates your listing for that item to be the correct price so that you make money. So that means that if the Amazon item goes up in price or goes out of stock or something like that, those changes will be reflected on your eBay listing for the item. Before we were using Yaballe, we had a bunch of issues where stuff would go out of stock and buyers would be placing for orders that we couldn't fill. Buyers would get mad, leave us bad feedback, all that kind of stuff. So Yaballe has prevented all that, and they're very reasonably priced. So first step is to connect to eBay. So we're going to click that, and then we have to sign into our eBay account. All right, so by accepting this is just going to allow Yaballe to do everything that it needs to do behind the scenes. So we're going to come here and we're going to hit agree. And now Yaballe is going to be able to do everything. So we have to configure the settings, of course, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's hop on in really quickly. Notice right here that because we just made an account and haven't paid for anything yet, we're on the free trial. That's a good thing. If you sign up through our link here, you actually get a much larger free trial where instead of just doing a couple items, they'll actually give you a bunch. Just figured I should mention that. So we're going to come down here to settings, and we have to enter the PayPal email address from eBay. So we're just going to paste that in, or, type it in, and then desired profit. We recommend setting this at $2.50. If you do it too high, you won't get very many sales, and too low, then you're just doing a lot of work for not that much money. So $2.50 seems to be the sweet spot. Also, quantity of your items. This is basically is going to use up your limits. So if you are able to list 1,000 items, then you're going to want to set this to 1, because if you set it to 3 and listed 1,000 items, then that would be using up 3,000 of your limits. But if you set it to 1, then 1,000 items times 1 is 1,000. So that's why we set this to 1. If your limits are very high, if you can do 10,000 items, then you can just up this number a lot, and you could make it maybe 10 or whatever you want. But we keep it at 1 because it can be tough when you have a new account with lower limits. So anyway, that's set up correctly. The defaults here are all fine. And then this is the protection strategy. So if it's out of stock on Amazon, then you can just select, you can either make the price 4 times higher and hope nobody buys it, which seems kind of silly, or you can just make it out of stock on eBay, which is what you're going to want to do. So leave that set there. These are some labels that just help you track your stuff through Yaballe, but you don't really need them right now. So we're going to hit save. And then we're going to come over to business profiles. So we set our business profiles up on eBay, and we're just going to click here, update policies, and Yaballe's grabbing them from eBay right now. And now these should be updated. So we have to drop down and select PayPal Immediate Pay, My Return Policy, Free Fast Shipping. Remember, we set those all up in the last tutorial video. We're going to save that. Now we go to Monitor Profiles. And right here, it wants the registered email address. It already seems to have it, but I'm going to paste it one more time. And hit Save. And now this stuff doesn't matter. The return policy and shipping policy is only for if you're not using business profiles, but we are, so they don't matter. But what does matter here is item location. Item location is one thing that's caused a lot of problems for a lot of drop shippers. It didn't used to matter at all. You could have it set to your hometown and your home zip code, and then you'd be fine. But eBay's recently been making some changes that means that doesn't work anymore. They want to make sure that this is accurate, and when they check the shipping information and the tracking numbers, they want to make sure they match where you're saying you're shipping from, and make sure that you're actually being honest with the customer. So what you can do to still comply with all of eBay's policies, if we click over here and read the full item location policy, they've got sort of a summary here, but you can click to read the full thing. And now notice here, it says, where is it? It says required accurate description of item location, a valid zip code for item location, except when using blah, 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 or for items that will be shipped from multiple locations. So since Amazon has multiple different warehouses, we don't know which one they're going to ship from. It's just going to be whichever warehouse is closest to the buyer. All of our items are going to be shipped from multiple locations. So I'm just going to copy that, or you could just type it in and paste in multiple locations. I'll capitalize it here to make it look pretty. But and then we're going to leave the zip code blank, and that's fine. You don't have to include a zip code because you have to include a zip code unless items will be shipped from multiple locations. So we're just going to say multiple locations there, and then that's all good, and we'll click Save. If you do not do this and you do your own thing, you're going to have to like edit that in eBay because they will, it'll work fine for a little bit and then they'll start taking you down and you'll get suspended and it's going to give you a lot of issues. So just make sure you got multiple locations in there. So now let's move on to filters. Everything is good at the default except for this one setting here. So because we use RBShip and we are able to buy add-on item support, we can go ahead and check this. Add-on items are basically just really cheap items on Amazon. The purpose of them is Amazon created these so that you could just throw it in your cart, get your cart over the total to qualify for free shipping or whatever it is. But you can't buy an add-on item by itself. So RBShip, which is the auto-ordering software, has a workaround where they are able to buy add-on items just by themselves. If you were trying to do stuff manually, you wouldn't want to check this because those are really, really tough to order on your own. But if you're using RBShip, which is what we recommend, then you're going to want to check that because that will get everything listed and won't give you errors. So we're going to hit Save. Let's come on over to templates. So this is the default template from Yaballe. Now, one thing that I've noticed is a lot of the time, eBay's just weird. They have different policies. Not everything that's for sale on Amazon is allowed to be sold on eBay and vice versa. So there are certain keywords that can trigger eBay to freak out and be like, oh no, for example, I sold a scope for a gun. And, it's just a scope. It's just like a binoculars for a gun. And because in the description it said that you could put it on an AR-15, I got a bad mark on my account, and it was violating their firearms policy or whatever. So everything else about this thing was fine. It's just specifically that I mentioned in the description this could be attached to an AR-15. So what I recommend doing is that you're going to want to come here, and we're just going to delete item description. Now, we're still going to have this looks weird, but this is basically just a placeholder for whatever the Amazon title is of the item. And then this is going to be bullet points about the item. But the description usually has a lot of extra information, and a lot of it is not really needed. So you can do whatever you want. You can leave it, but I would recommend, just to avoid, eBay violations, let's just get rid of that, because most people don't even read the description on eBay anyway. Also, right here, it says image. You can leave that in if you want, but I just prefer to not have it in there. And then we'll just leave it at item title and then the bullet points about the item from Amazon. There's also some information here about shipping. You can review all this and make sure it seems accurate. I'm not going to mess with it. I think it's all probably fine, but if you want to skim over this, that'd probably be a good idea because this is the templates that's going to be used on everything. They also have a couple other templates, but I do highly recommend taking out the description because sometimes the description could cause you problems. So we're just going to do the title and the bullet points, and then that's fine, and we'll hit Save. And let's move on to auto messages. So there is a way to set some of this stuff up through eBay, but this is like send a message to the buyer after the item's purchased, leave good feedback. So I would say, yeah, turn that on, leave good feedback for the buyer after it's purchased. You can edit that if you want. There's a way to do it through eBay once you have the 1,000-item store, which we already have set up. But this is easier because we just check a box rather than having to mess with settings. And then there's some other stuff here. I just leave all this stuff off. I haven't really played with it. You can play with it if you want, but you don't need to. Just check this one box and you're going to be good, and we'll hit Save. And that just leaves, it's impossible to leave bad feedback as a store, so just always leave them good feedback. It makes buyers happy, and it makes them more likely to leave you good feedback. So now we're going to come over to accounts. If you have multiple eBay accounts or multiple Yaballe accounts and you want to track them all, each new eBay account needs a new Yaballe account to monitor it, right? So you can just link and you just enter the email and password for the other Yaballe account, and then you'll have a little quick switch button here. So you just hit one click, and then bam, you're in the other Yaballe accounts, and you can do that from anywhere. So it makes it really easy. You can have, 10 accounts in here, and you just boop, and then click the account you want to be in, and it makes it really easy. So you just do that. Also, there is a way that you can link your VAs up to be able to manage stuff in Yaballe, but honestly, your VAs probably won't even really need access to it. Now, auto rules, this you only get if you have a big enough plan in Yaballe. But you can start using these, like start raising your profit after this many sales. So you can say like, wait till I get 15 sales, then raise my profit by 15 cents. And then if it's not selling for one day, every day it doesn't sell, drop the price by 5 cents, but don't drop more than $1. Like it gives you some nice advanced settings, but you have to have a certain plan to be able to do that. Also, I should mention, if you have any questions, you can just click right here. Their support is amazing. Now, under the advanced right here, this is your Vero strictness. So this is basically just going to filter out items that you might not want or that could get your account in trouble. And their system is, it does catch most everything, but their thing is too strict. If you're doing very small batches, it can be fine. But if you're doing very, very large batches, it takes, you say you go to list 10,000 items, and then it's going to cut out half of your items, to drop you down to 5,000. And it does it by filtering words that it thinks are bad, that eBay might have problems with. And there are some cases where they could have problems with, but at DropSource, we already do Vero checking for everything except for the brands. We check for items that are going to cause issues with your eBay account, and we filter out 90% of them. So you don't really need to do their description filtering or their title filtering. You can turn those off if you ordered a list from us. You'll be fine. If you're trying to do this on your own without buying a list from drop-source.com, then yeah, you're totally going to want these because that's going to be hard. But, then you're going to have issues with stuff not selling because people haven't done the research on the items to make sure they're going to be, good and ones that are actually going to get you sales. So you're going to want these on if you're trying to do it on your own. But if you bought a list from us, you'll be fine to just take both of these off and just leave it at brand. And very soon we're going to have brand filtering as well. But we do not yet have 100% brand filtering. We've just got most of them. So just leave that on to get the few that we don't catch yet. And then you can add specific words. But like I said, if you're ordering from us, we've already done that for you, so you don't need to worry about that. And you can just go ahead and click Save. All right, so Yaballe is set up, and we are ready to list. So we're going to come on over to, actually, let me show you this first. Let me show you the plans. Now, we are not affiliated with Yaballe, but these are their plans. So you're going to need the one that will do 1,000 items plan. So this one says 1,200 eBay listings. So this is the one that would recommend you get. It's $40 a month. So just go ahead and sign up for that. You can list stuff without doing it, but as soon as you go over your 30 free listings, or actually our link, if you used our link, I think it gets you up to 75 or something like that. But once you've listed more items than that have gone over to the price monitoring, it's going to basically lock you out here until you buy a plan. So go ahead and go with the classic plan for $40, or, if you're doing more than that, you can, but what really makes sense is going to be the classic plan. And then head on over to the lister. So we're going to go to the bulk lister, and then this is where we are going to enter the ASINs of the items. So if you ordered from us a list of items, I have a list here from us of 1,000 items. What you're going to do is just select, now I'll show you how this works here. So the format that it wants is you can either give it a row of ASINs, or you can give it an ASINs and then semicolon, and then the title. And you can also do more stuff here, but that doesn't really matter because we already set up all those settings. So some people who order from us want to do it all manually, and they want to go to the eBay link, click sell similar, enter all this information for every single listing, and that takes forever and is totally not worth it and not what you should be doing. So all we need is the Amazon ASIN, semicolon, and then the title here. So you could list them with just the ASIN, but then it's going to use whatever the Amazon title for it is. And in order to get sales, a lot of these titles have been optimized to, just make sure that you're at the top and are going to be showing up for what people are searching for. So you want to use this title that we have here, not whatever the Amazon title is. So what you're going to do is you're just going to copy like this, and then just go all the way down to the bottom till we have 1,000. All right, and we're just going to hit copy, Control-C, minimize, and then paste. Notice that it showed up a little bit funny here. So what we're going to do, if you have this kind of issue, is just get rid of this, and I'll show you how we can resolve this. So if that happens and you end up getting those weird spaces, what you can do is just come over here and type in, we're going to do a formula really quick. That will fix everything and mush it all together for us. So we're going to do equals concatenate, and that just means smush everything together. We're going to do cell C, 1000, comma, D, 1000, comma, E, 1000. And so you can see what that did. I could have clicked, but I just typed it, E1000. If you're not super familiar with Excel, it's just referencing the cell. So basically this is saying mash the contents of this cell, and this cell all together. So we'll click outside and you'll see it's done it. No spaces, nothing weird. So if I drag this up one, you can see it just changed it to 999, so we're just going to hold that and just drag it all the way up to the top. Bam, there we go. So we got all the information right there. So let's just copy that and paste. And there we go. Now everything's showing up correctly. So I just want to show you a couple more settings here. If you'd like to, you can prevent listing out of stock items. I usually don't worry about this because a lot of the time an item will go out of stock just because, it was just ordered and then in a day or two it comes back. And since we're listing these for a month and then they'll relist automatically after that month goes by, I let it list out of stock items because most of them aren't out of stock, and maybe you'll get 100 that are, but they're going to come. All the items are going to go in and out of stock over the month. So I don't worry about that. Don't check this button because it will put your account in trouble. You don't want Vero items coming through, and remember we set the filtering to just the brand, so that's fine. If you check this box, then that would allow bad brands and bad items that could get you in trouble to get listed. So we don't want to check that. Leave that off. So the final thing that we want to check on here before we hit list items, before we hit that, what we want to do is come here and just confirm. Sometimes when you do the whole eBay setup process, eBay will freak out and they'll be like, oh no, you just set up all this stuff. It'll say your account has been suspended, blah, 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 because we couldn't, it doesn't matter. It's just a scary message. You go to sign in, they go, your account's been suspended because we're concerned and stuff. And all you have to do is you just call up eBay. You say, hey, I just went and I made a new account and I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it says that I'm suspended, and I'm trying to sell on eBay, and can we get that fixed? And, they'll ask you a couple questions, and, you just answer their questions, and then they'll verify your account. It's nothing too difficult. But yes, so before we go ahead and list all of these, we want to just confirm that we have a store. And if you did get suspended like that, they often unsubscribe you automatically from the store. And remember, if you listed this without having a store to use these credits, it's going to cost 30 cents for every single item. So it'd be $300 to list this many items. That's insane. So you want to make sure you have your store, and if they did knock it off, just make sure this says, you've got used 0, left 1,000, because if you do this without that, you're going to get yourself a whole lot of eBay fees. So I see right here that I've got 1,000 listings available, and I'm going to come here, and we got our 1,000 items pasted in there, and we're just going to go ahead and click List Items. There we go. So everything's been sent over, and those items are being listed very quickly to our eBay store. So check this out. I'm going to refresh. It says use 0, left 1,000. And also you can see our limits here. So I'm going to refresh this. And notice, oh, it's listed 1. We'll refresh it again. Use 3. Used 4. So anyway, it's just going through. Usually takes, half an hour, something like that. But it just starts chugging through, listing them. And let's look at these listings. So actually, they sometimes eBay can take a little bit of time to show up. But let's peek and see. Okay, great. So it is starting to show us our listings here. This is the one for the dog bed. I forgot to end it before, so I'll just end that. If you watched the first tutorial, I forgot to end that listing. So there we go. Great, so this is just chugging through and listing them, and notice it set the Amazon ASIN as the SKU, and that's really important. So the way that ASIN works is that you can go to amazon.com/dp/ and then paste whatever the ASIN is, and that will be the correct purchase link for the item. Those links don't change. This is just the unique identifier for that item. So that has to do with how RBShip is able to figure out what items to sell. But if you change this to something else, RBShip won't know how to order it when we get onto that section of the tutorial. So anyway, let's just come back here and watch this chugging along. You see it's done 14, and yeah, so this is great. So, there are some people who say, oh, you shouldn't do bulk stuff with dropshipping, but generally what they mean is you shouldn't just randomly grab 1,000 items from Amazon and then list them. You could do that, but the problem is most of them aren't going to sell, and the few that do are not going to be enough to pay for all your insertion fees. With DropSource, what we do is we go through, we find other dropshippers, we figure out what their best-selling items are and what titles they're using, and then we save all of that information, put it into a list, and then find that same item and then sell it for cheaper. So we've done all the work for you. You can spend hours and hours a day, 8 hours a day, finding all of these items. But at DropSource, we do all the research for you and then just can give you a list so that you can have all the, the easiness of just being able to go bulk post everything and then you'll be fine. But if we didn't do the research, then you're not going to get any sales. But, here, obviously we have items guaranteed to sell or your money back. We do the research. We know stuff's going to sell. That's why we have that guarantee. So now that all of these items are going through, we just have to wait until it's finished. I don't think you really want me to just sit here and keep talking while we're waiting for that. It's going to take a long time. So we're just going to let those chug through. And when they're done, everything will be listed. And then we will be ready to set up auto ordering through RBShip. Now, I'm just going to say one more time, if you did not yet subscribe to the plan here, it's just going to lock you out and then make you pay for it. So if you haven't done that while this is working, you might as well. You just come over to payments and then go with the plan that does 1,000 listings. This one does 1,200, so that'll be enough, but this would not be. So go ahead and just sign up, click sign up, and then pay $40, and then that'll be good, and it'll monitor for the month. Great job getting everything set up this far, and I will see you over at the auto ordering tutorial. This video is brought to you by Dropsource.com. That's spelled drop-source.com.